That'd be awesome.
If you've got a long dissertation, you're the only one to be set.
On this day. Receipt of the budget. And all the little happy things that go along with it. Sorry about that.
It's true. For anything gets me out of
One thing that disturbed me.
Five counties.
Solid. That we should be doing to do it. Auditor that spoke with.
I don't know how that's.
I don't believe it's gonna happen. May or may not, but I know it's gonna do make me better for him. I can see financial side. Accountability to set things.
I'll take it.
Cody, did Frazier get anybody to sit in for him?
I didn't see it on the email and he's not told me about anybody coming, so.
All right, let's go ahead and call this meeting to order. Jack, can you call roll?
Ma'am. Dr. Acuff?
Present.
Julie Quinn?
Here.
Brad Johnson?
Here.
Danny Deal?
Here.
Layla Ward?
Here.
Donnie Cable?
Here.
Aaron Frazier? Cody McQueen?
Here.
Next up is motion to adopt the agenda. You guys have looked it over.
So moved.
Dr. Acuff made the motion. And you do a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, now we are up for public comments. Does anybody have any public comments that you would like to make? Anything you'd like to say, address this committee? Okay. No takers. All right, next up is review and approval of budget committee meeting minutes. First is 4A, which is May 25th of 23.
Motion to approve.
Layla Ward makes the motion.
Second.
Dr. Acuff has a second.
Dr. Acuff?
Aye.
Julie Quinn?
Yes.
Brad Johnson?
Yes.
Danny Deal?
Yes.
Layla Ward?
Yes.
Donnie Cable?
Yes.
Cody McQueen?
All right. Next up is 4B, which is June the 1st of 2023, which is page 6 in your packet.
Move to approve.
Dr. Acuff makes the motion.
Second.
And Mr. Deal is the second.
Dr. Acuff?
Aye.
Julie Quinn?
Yes.
Brad Johnson?
Yes.
Danny Deal?
Yes.
Layla Ward?
Yes.
Donnie Cable?
Yes.
Cody McQueen?
All right, 4C, which is June the 8th minutes of 2023, page 9 in your packet. Mr. Johnson makes the motion.
Second.
Dr. Acuff second.
Dr. Acuff?
Aye.
Julie Quinn?
Yes.
Brad Johnson?
Yes.
Danny Deal?
Yes.
Layla Ward?
Yes.
Donnie Cable?
Yes.
Cody McQueen?
Aye.
Next up is 4D, which is June 15th, 2023, page 11.
To approve.
Mr. Deal makes a motion.
Second.
Layla Ward makes a second.
Hal Craig,
Aye.
Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Brad Johnson.
Yes.
Danny Deal. Layla Ward,
Yes.
Donnie Cable. Buddy McQueen.
Thank you, guys. Number 5 is old business, update on proposed 23-24 budget sent to the Department of Finance and Administration.
It's been sent and they have given me confirmation that they've received it. So we're done.
All right, we are done, yay. We don't need to do anything, right? Okay. All right, next up is new business on number 6. A is outside agencies. That's on page 13. This is the remainder of the agencies that we did not cover in our 23-24 budget. So we were talking about just going ahead and getting these moved forward so that they can be ready for the August payout, correct? Let's see here. Of course, all of them wound up back in here, but let's see who we. Just a second. Was the advocacy center required? Their advocacy center, it was in our 23-24 budget, wasn't it? Am I right?
Yes.
Madam Chair, we removed the Elizabeth City Fire Department amount of $9,000 because from our hearings on the budget committee,
Mhm.
it was determined and they did not provide.
Right. Well, this list here, I was hoping it was updated, and I apologize. I should have probably made that more clear. Sorry, Chad. So who we have left is the American Red Cross, ARM, Boys and Girls Club, Imagination Library. That one didn't go in our budget, did it? No. So we had already removed drug prevention. Carter County Compassion Center was in. Chamber of Commerce was in. East Tennessee Spay and Neuter was in. Elizabeth and Carter County Senior Citizens was in. The library was in our budget. Elizabeth and Parks and Rec, was that one in our budget? I'm sorry. And then First Tennessee Development was in our budget. First Tennessee Human Resource, was that one in our budget?
Yeah.
And the Human Development Agency. That one came this next time, right?
Okay, now.
And then Isaiah House, Keep Carter County Beautiful, Loaves and Fishes, Second Harvest, the Shepherd's Inn, and Tennessee Rehabilitation Center, right? Okay. So those are the ones that we have left. We removed the Elizabeth and City Fire, Chamber of Commerce, and Drug Prevention, and the others, which was Butler Fire, Carter County Soil Conservation, EMS Fire Departments, Carter County Rescue, Carter County Emergency Communications, Children's Advocacy, Elizabeth Public Library, First Tennessee Development District, and First Tennessee Human Resource were all within our budget. So that just leaves this remainder. Can you get me a total on those? The only one that I see in question is the Carter County Compassion Center, which we did not fund at the 22-23 lab there. So I really, at this point, don't remember what we talked about on that one. Does anybody else? Because we took everybody back to the 22-23. And that one was not here then.
Also, the Carter County Drug Prevention wasn't funded.
Yeah, we left them out. We took them out of the equation, so.
If I didn't miss anything, 169,809.
Okay. Once they verify that number, we need to go back and decide what we're gonna give the Compassion Center.
Yeah, I mean,
Because that one was at 0, so.
well, that was a new one. What was discussed previously is that it would be the amount that was funded for the 22-23, and that one
There
wasn't in
wasn't
there.
one, that's why it's.
So that one's kind of that's one of the ones that's in limbo.
That's all I told them was 22, 23.
Danny, what'd you come out with on yours?
Unless I missed one, 169,809.
$169. You restate that, how much?
169,809.
Elizabeth and Fire Department, did we take them completely out?
We took them completely out, yes.
Okay.
So you got the same? Okay.
All right. So those are the ones that we knew positively we were going to take out. What are y'all thinking as far as the Compassion Center? The ones that we've already taken out, we know, the Compassion Center, that's the only one that's in limbo because they weren't funded in 22-23. So if any of you have any thoughts on it, now is the time to say something.
Well, certainly from the standpoint of what they do and how they are serving this community, I would be inclined to let their ask stand as they made it at 5,000. And I'll put that in the form of a motion.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All right, Dr. Acuff makes the motion to give them 5,000. That was you, yes, that's their ask. And then Mr. Deal seconded it.
Who are we discussing?
The Carter Compassion Center. For the 5,000 that they asked for this next year.
All right, any discussion on this? Okay. take all minds.
Motion is, this is only to cover the Compassion Center, right?
This one is just for the
That is
compassion
topic
center,
only.
yes, and then we'll add that to this and do the whole, correct? Can we do that, am I right?
Make it 174,809.
174 will be the total out on the business. Are you good to go on? Brad, are you good to go ahead and take a vote?
Yeah, oh, push him off the cliff, gosh. 15-foot rope, 20-foot jump, so I don't.
All right, Chad, whenever you're ready, go ahead and call the roll. And this is the motion to give the Compassion Center 5,000, which is their ask for 23-24 since they got 22-23. You got all that?
What did your own numbers come up?
With the different numbers, so I'm trying to figure out what's different.
Did you say 174,809?
So you went to Boones Creek High School, is that where it is? So I'll know how to subtract the columns. Get the look.
That wasn't a mean word.
You didn't win this week.
Well, I got two.
That's paying neuter. That's paying neuter.
No, I thought you said take that one out. What's the difference? I mean, that's what I'm.
Were we including the spay and neuter?
Yes.
Come out, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah, the 2,500.
Spay and neuter come out.
No,
Because I had it taken out. All right, so just to confirm, American Red Cross, 2,500, Alarm, 7,500, Boys and Girls Club, 20,000, Imagination Library, 5,000, 5,000 Carter Compassion Center, Children's Advocacy, 5,000, Carter County Senior Citizens, 26,500. Elizabethton Parks and Rec, 25,000. Human Development Agency, 4,000. Isaiah House, 5,000. Keep Carter County Beautiful, 5,000. Loaves and Fishes, 12,000. Second Harvest Food Bank, 10,000. Shepherd's Inn, 12,000, and Tennessee Rehabilitation Center, 27,809. Is that correct?
Did we take East Tennessee spay and neuter out?
I think we did.
I don't think we did.
I had included that with my calculation.
Okay.
I didn't have it in mind. That's what the
I didn't think we took it out,
difference is. That's why I kept asking.
Okay, so it's still at that 2,500. Okay.
So they are included?
The East Tennessee spay and neuter,
Oh, yeah, we left that.
that's what I thought. Okay, yeah, it's still in.
Okay, that's the difference.
All right, what total do you come up with officially?
Which is the same as what Danny had, correct?
174,809.
Okay. All right, but the motion on the floor right now is the $5,000 to the Compassion Center because they didn't get anything last year. So any other discussion? Okay, Chad, go ahead and call the roll.
Dr. Acuff,
Aye.
Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Brad Johnson.
Yes.
Danny Deal,
Yes.
Layla Ward,
Yes.
Donnie Cable.
Good.
Cody McQueen.
Aye.
All right. Okay, so next is to approve all of the remaining agencies that we just went over to the sum of $174,809. Yes?
Madam Chair, I have one question.
Yes.
When, if it's approved here tonight, when is the anticipated turnover for the money to the agencies?
That's what we discussed, most likely August.
Well, at the time we discussed it in budget, it was dependent upon the acceptance by the state for our budget. Is that right?
That's why I said August. We can't do it till the August meeting because we should have the approval back from the state by that point.
Okay, so the reason I draw it up is that whoever makes the motion on acceptance, that is a part of the motion. Doesn't go out till after the acceptance from the state comptroller.
This is just preliminary to have it ready to go when it is.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. McQueen makes that motion. Do you want to state how you want that, as in what Brad was talking about?
Motion to approve funding outside agencies as discussed here, pending the approval from the state. $174 for the amount of $174,809 total.
If you would add to that motion that it will be paid from fund balance.
From general fund balance.
Second.
Dr. Acuff is second. All right, any discussion? Do you have everything? Okay, go ahead and call the roll.
Dr. Acuff,
Aye.
Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Brad Johnson,
Yes.
Danny Deal,
Yes.
Layla Ward,
Yes.
Donnie Cable,
Yes.
Cody McQueen.
Aye.
All right, thank you guys. Okay. Next up on 6B is to review and approval of asset disposal list. That's on page 14. Let's see. This is the disposal of an office chair. Do all the list at one time, Josh?
Just a list of assets or property to dispose of, yes.
Okay. Okay, first up is the office chair. Oh, that's out there.
It's for juvenile services, I'm sorry.
Okay. And then the next one on page 15 is a 720p HD video security DVR.
And the rest of these is the trustee's office.
Okay. An LGC server is on page 16. And then a hard drive is on 17. 18 is an HP Slim 410-010 desktop computer. Page 19 is a Philips 24-inch HD TV. And I believe that is the list of assets. So I will entertain a motion to dispose of these assets.
So moved.
Second.
Dr. Acuff made the motion, Danny Deal second. Any discussion on these assets? All right, great.
Dr. Acuff,
Aye.
Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Brad Johnson.
Yes.
Danny Deal,
Yes.
Layla Ward,
Yes.
Donnie Cable,
Yes.
Cody McQueen.
Thank you, guys. Okay, number 7 is budget amendments.
I
Those
have
are,
a correction on the amendment.
okay,
So for the motor vehicle line item, it needs to be 38,086. No change instead of the 50,000, yes.
Say it again.
$38,086. And then the remaining amount will go to the equipment line item, 716, to equip the vehicle. And that will be $12,227.46.
Chad, would you repeat that amount again, please?
The equipment amount?
Yep.
It's $12,227.46.
Thank you.
okay,
Note that this is an insurance recovery. There was a vehicle that was totaled, and this is the recovery to the insurance funds that we received. And they found a vehicle to replace the one that was totaled at a good amount, so they wanted to go ahead and jump on that. So they didn't have to be on the list to wait for an extended period of time. That's the only reason we allowed it to come through when it did.
all right, this is General Fund 101. You just heard Caroline's explanation to correct the budget amendment number 10, item 21, in the amount of $50,313.46.
That is correct.
Nothing changed. Mr. Johnson makes a motion.
Second.
Mr. McQueen is second. Any discussion on this? All minds clear?
Dr. Acuff,
Aye.
Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Brad Johnson. Danny Deal,
Yes.
Layla Ward,
Yes.
Donnie Cable,
Yes.
Cody McQueen.
Next up is number 8A, which is the monetary donation listing totaling $2,195 for the animal shelter.
Move to accept.
Dr. Acuff makes the motion.
Okay.
Mr. Cable, second. Any discussion?
Dr. Acuff,
Aye.
Brad Johnson,
Yes.
Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Danny Deal,
Yes.
Layla Ward,
Yes.
Donnie Cable,
Yes.
Cody McQueen.
And the non-monetary donation listing totaling $655.46 as a loan donation for the month of June 2023.
Motion to approve.
Mr. Deal makes the motion.
Second.
Dr. Acuff, second. Any discussion?
Dr. Acuff,
Aye.
Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Brad Johnson,
Yes.
Danny Deal, Layla Ward,
Yes.
Donnie Cable,
Yes.
Cody McQueen.
All right, thank you, guys. Last thing, commissioner comments. Does anybody have anything that you'd like to say or discuss? Okay. After these long meetings. This one's a break. Okay, motion to adjourn.
Moved.
Dr. Acuff and Mr. Deal. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Here, you don't want to stop. Okay. If y'all want to, do you want to adjourn for 5 minutes?
Yeah, let's take a short break. 5 minutes from the nomination.
All right, that'll work. So,
Good job, Madam Chair.
well, thank you very much.
Can you take a 5-minute break?
You got another one from the?
Well, it said for cucumbers, so.
Thinking it was 60.
Dowson is where I'm at.
He's leaving.
So
Doesn't look too hard.
Need something, Bob? I'll talk to you after. Call the nominating committee to order, 6:45, July 10th. Scott Award, call the roll.
Robert Acuff,
Present.
Julie Gwynn,
Here.
Brad Johnson,
Yes.
Danny Deal,
Here.
Layla Ward, present, Donnie Cable,
Here.
Cody McQueen.
Here.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Julie Gwynn made the motion, Danny Deal second. All in favor, say aye. Approve the minutes of April the 10th. It's in your packet. We didn't have a meeting in May or June. Move to approve, Mr. Chair. Rick House made the motion.
Second.
Danny Deal made the second. On roll.
Robert Acuff,
Aye.
Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Brad Johnson,
Yes.
Danny Deal,
Yes.
Cody McQueen,
Abstain.
Layla Ward, yes, Donnie Cable.
Yes. Any public comments? I don't see any public comments. There was no old business. New business is we just gotten a resignation from the constable second district. We now have 2 vacancies, second district. Before we begin, there's a couple of ways we can do this. One is that we have 3 candidates. We will allow them to speak in a few minutes. You all have their qualifications in front of you. You all begin July 1st. That each candidate should have a psychological evaluation. We have one that has his evaluation, Mr. Keener. We have 2 that does not in their package. The way that we could do that, and I talked to the attorney, is since we have 2 vacancies, we can examine the qualifications. We can move all 3 to the commission on a nominated report, according to Robert's Rule of Order. Send that report to the commission, and then they will be nominated from the floor. Is that something the committee wants to do?
I would like to make a motion that we actually do what you just said, which is on the floor.
We will allow the 3 to speak this evening to get us some more background on that and on their qualifications. And then we will move to do the report, and I'll forward that report to the chairman of the commission. I'll second the motion, Mr. Chair.
I would just ask, the 2 that have not been through the psychological evaluation, will we give them enough time before the commission meeting so they can?
I'm going to give them until Monday. Everybody will be on equal footing. If they don't have the affidavit, they don't have the evaluation, they will have Monday to make that happen.
Yes, sir.
Always a little confusing when we first read it. So we need to at least give them that opportunity to get that evaluation done before Monday, and it goes to the committee. Any other discussion? No other discussion? Well, would you call a roll, please?
Robert Acuff,
Aye.
Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Brad Johnson,
Yes.
Danny Deal,
Yes.
Cody McQueen,
Aye.
Donnie Cable,
Yes.
Layla Ward, aye. All ayes.
We're going to ask the candidates if they would like to speak, and we'll start with Mr. Ryan Keener.
Come up with it.
State your name and your address, please.
Brian Keener, 121 Winners Road, Roanoke, Tennessee. I thank you for giving me this time to speak to you, and I'll take any questions that you might have. I'm a retired law enforcement officer and criminal justice instructor, and live in Rome Mountain at 121 Winners Road. I filled out the application back in January, and I've been waiting to this point. I also have filled out the affidavit as well as completed the psychological examination and post-certified. And anything that you'd like to ask me, I'll be glad to answer.
Mr. Chair, may I ask, Mr. Keener, I'm a retired law officer also, particularly from the area of where you're applying for. There's no residence on that property that you list as your address, so where do you live?
There's a camper up above that. We went through this in 2018. I run in 2018 for constable in Rome Mountain and had a hearing in front of the Board of Elections, and that was approved through Nashville. I have a camper on that property. There's 19.75 acres there. I've had some problems with my mailbox. It's been torn down about 4 or 5 times. I don't think out of any harmful act, just because there's heavy equipment moving up in there, but I do get mail there, and also the post office is aware of that.
And that's where you rest your head every day.
Well, I also travel. I play music as well. So that's my permanent residence, but I do stay other places because I travel to Florida, to Georgia, different places, Alabama, because I play music professionally as well and have for a number of years. Miss Odom back there can attest to that because I did an Elvis show for her a few years ago up there at the Learning Center. So, that's something I've done for years.
Other questions?
Well, if you have no mailbox, where do you get your mail?
I made an arrangement with the post office. We're in the process of getting that anchored back down. They hold it for me at the post office. I pick it up there.
I went up there the last time that you had your name in, because it always seems like you follow wherever a constable position is open. I saw no camper,
You can't see it from the road, Miss Gwen.
and the mailbox was down and had been down for a very long time.
It's got
The
torn
only
down
thing that was
several
up there
times.
was 2 trucks and 2 utility trailers, as far as I could see up in there.
Yeah, you can't see it from the road. That was the same thing we went through when you
And
filed a complaint in 2018.
I never filed a complaint on you. That was not my position to do that. I was running against you. That was up to the election commission to do as they so choose, not up to me as another candidate. I would not do that.
Well, in 2018, like I said, there was an investigation done. The Board of Elections called me in. Proper documentation and evidence was proven. They called Nashville and everything was settled. That's family property. It's been in my family for years. Upon my mother's passing, it'll be put in my name and my brother's name. But as of right now, it's in her name. But yes, there is a camper up there, and there has been for several years. You can't see it from the road.
How do you get to it? I don't see any kind of access in.
Go right across the creek there.
You drive through the creek?
No, you can park on the other side of the creek, or you can drive up or take a 4-wheeler up. You will have to have a 4-wheel drive, which I do have a Tahoe and 4-wheeler and another ATV side by side.
If your statement has say employment, your activity, making music or traveling or concert and everything, that kind of denotes that the importance of the job is not there for you.
Well, it is, I mean, but I've not been appointed yet. And, you know, if I am appointed, then that obviously would slack off. And I don't play a full schedule now as much as I used to anyway. I mean, it's not an everyday 5, 6, 7 day a week thing.
The emphasis is that community has in the past had working constables. If you want it for the title, please excuse yourself.
Well, it's not for the title because I've already been a full-time law enforcement officer, paid and retired. So it's not for that. If I were to be appointed to that position, then I would be a working constable.
Where are you a training instructor?
Where was I training for the state of North Carolina?
When was that?
That was back in 2002, 2003, 2004. I went to the academy. I taught basic law enforcement training. There's different blocks of basic law enforcement training. You're assigned different blocks. The last place I taught was at Sand Hills, down toward the East Coast. But that general instructor certification at the time was good anywhere in the state of North Carolina.
Question? Have you worked for Avery County Sheriff's Department?
I have in the past worked with and for them. That's been a long time.
For them.
Sir?
For them.
Yes. Back when Richard Buchanan was sheriff, I worked on the drug task force with them, but my main employment was in Watauga County and also in Robeson County and in Brunswick County.
Well, Sheriff Buchanan was in there, what, in the early 90s, late 80s?
No, he got elected and put in office in 1998. I believe it was. And of course, he was there a very short time.
That's one that lived at the end of Winter Road and relatives that lived at the end of. I don't live there. The one I had to give a ride to the grocery store and going up and down near our scenic view.
Well, I will tell you, and that goes for every candidate sitting here, and I hope I'm not out of line in saying this. I did this job. I did this job working a full and a half-time job. The people of Round Mountain need a good, solid constable.
I agree.
Not a half-hearted, not somebody fly by the seat of their pants and not gonna do it right. It needs to be done right.
I
The
agree.
constables have spent the last 5 years working really hard to get the bar raised high.
Yes.
They keep their cars clean, they keep their person clean, they get their training in. Matter of fact, it was our local constables that went and had these new laws put into effect because they want to be better.
I actually,
I've had the opportunity over the last little bit to see the lack of having one and having one that was dedicated. We need dedication. Round Mountain needs it. And that's what I fully expect. As a citizen, as a commissioner, I expect you to be fully dedicated. I expect you to give it your all. I expect you to get the training and live where you say you live.
I understand that.
Not in Valley Forge, not wherever your head may lay. It's important.
I agree with you. And also too, which is not in that packet, but I have also took the constable in-service training program, the 80-hour class. and that was in 2016. Ken Potter was the instructor of that class. But Ms. Gwen, I agree with you totally. I mean, if appointed to this position, you would see me. And as being the commissioner from that district, along with Mr. Brown and Mr. Wynn, I'll be happy to work with y'all as close as I can and would be an active working constable. And would be trained. I don't have a problem with training. I've got literally over 2,000 hours of specialized training, in addition to my 2 years from a degree from Maitland. So, I mean, I definitely agree with the training aspect of it. That's not an issue for me.
You realize all your qualifications is in North Carolina, and it's completely different from what it is here at this state. So that means you're going to be behind the 8 ball if you were to be selected for that job. You're going to go back to school.
Well, that's not an issue. Like I said, I've already been through the constable in service that they have to go to for 80 hours in 2016 and passed that satisfactory with a 98 on my exam and 100 on the firing range.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Keener.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Mr. Pierce would like to come up.
Good evening, everybody. Everybody happy? A little spicy in here. Oh, I'm back again, and yet again, I'm Samuel Pierce, and I'm here on behalf of Jesus Christ, and I'm willing to do the job of constable. I'll preface by telling you that I don't think they let people fly UH-60 Black Hawk helicopters fly them that are crazy or that could not pass a mental examination. Second to that, or moving forward, I started out, I'm a recent retiree of the United States Army, 20 years service. Started out as a 19 Delta, a cavalry scout, hunted people for 5 years for the United States government. And 2006, I became a military policeman, and I was fully certified in that, and became partially instructor for the instructor for other MPs in my unit during that time. So that was the start of my law enforcement background. I then left that and became a machinist, and it's a 44 Echo is the MOS code if you want to look it up. You can make all kinds of parts. You can make like lawnmower parts, or you can make a truck part or a gun part for certain people, whatever the needs of the Army may be. After that, I became a all-source intelligence analyst, where I was on many different missions, including some high-value targets that you may know from national TV or stuff. I wouldn't be at liberty to discuss any of it here, but I targeted, acquired, and serviced many targets while as an analyst, an intel analyst for the United States Army that were either in Iraq or Afghanistan. From there, I became what's called a 42 Alpha, basically a paper pusher. absolutely loved that job. And what I did is I just took care of soldiers. If somebody needed an insurance form straightened out, or their wife or husband added onto that insurance form, I'd have them added, and I'd come and get all the forms straightened out. I'd take care of their military working file, so to speak. And this was over in Irwin. After working that for a few years, I became a helicopter pilot. I was an armed aerial scout pilot for a little while, and then I switched to the Nashville unit, in which I was a air assault pilot. I went from OH-58 Delta Kiowas to UH-60 helicopters, and then I finally ended my career as a medevac pilot, UH-60 medevac pilot. And my last deployment was in Kosovo, in which I did multiple real-world medevac operations for soldiers and Kosovo civilians. So, that being said, I've kind of been spitballing some stuff in my own mind about things here. This position for constable, it's been open for as long as I can remember, and I thank goodness that since I've applied, that interest has been generated in it, and that hey, if y'all get somebody in there, if it's me or if it's somebody else, I just really like somebody in there, because since the last time I was actually voted not to be constable, there's a person who has died that I feel wholeheartedly if I would have been able to arrest that person and get them in jail, they would still be living. Constable or not, 2 weeks ago, I ran up the road and stopped a woman from being mauled to death by a pit bull, and then provided basic first aid to her while I was there. And that's a great segue to tell you that, hey, I can run from my house, 556 Tiger Creek Road, where I have a 3-bedroom nice house that God gave me. And I can run from my house down to 19E and back without stopping. That's 4 miles. I can do that. I can do probably 100 push-ups here for you, too easy. And I can run anybody down through the woods. Now, I think I'm a weapons expert. I've taught hundreds of soldiers small arms fire, small arms. This includes pistols and rifles, and I've taught machine guns, crew-served weapons, missiles, rocket launchers, AT-4s, stuff like that, and how to safely employ them. So I'm really a safety-oriented person. However, I do know that and understand in my heart that safety, sometimes you do have to take risks. And I do want the drugs eliminated from my community. I'm furious about that. The meth that's prevalent up and down the road. And I just flat out know people come and tell me, they come and talk to me about it. The literal rapes that are occurring, or the women that are being sold into basically a sex ring around my home. I'm very angry about that, and I would like it to stop. And if I had the ability to bring somebody up on charges such as that, I probably would. Let's see. I think that's about it. Do y'all have any questions of me?
Here, I have a question.
Yes.
You made mention of quite an extensive number of skills, positions, occupations you've carried before, and your list of things you'd like to accomplish to better your community and better serve the people of Roan Mountain. Is constable the best capacity to do that? I would think that you would be better suited to join the sheriff's department and take on an active role there if that were your mission. Well, I guess why constable? Why the constable position?
The constable position is actually a great example of why, hey, I'm not getting paid to be here helping you in your car accident. Whenever I'm pulling you out of your car and you're wrapped around a tree and splinting your leg from being broke, I'm not getting paid for that. I'm just here to help you because I honestly, as a Christian, I love you. I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. I love the citizens of Carter County, all of them, even the ones that hate me. I absolutely love this place, and I'm very proud of it. That being said, yeah, there probably is a litany of other places that I could maybe greater serve Carter County. One of those I've been exploring here lately. I haven't gone too far, but maybe just going ahead and flying for the, it's not wings now. I went and took the heart place, flying for them. That might be a better avenue for me. Regardless, whatever you choose, I want it. This is the same stuff I told you last time. And if you're able to go back and examine the minutes or whatever, you will realize that I say this over and over again. And my mantra is that my flow chart starts with the first question of what will Jesus do? And in this situation, I'm not saying that I'll make good, clear, perfect decisions every time, nor have I. However, that is the first question in my flow chart. And all other questions and answers will flow from that first question. I think that's it. Does that answer your question, sir?
To an extent, I feel that you would have more authority, a broader scope if you were, for instance, a member of the drug task force, or you were a member of, there's even an FBI building an office here that you could apply for. I feel like your capability, the term overqualified, I'm in the corporate world. So if I have a guy that is a fantastic salesperson, manage many stores and everything, come in to fill a position, I want to maximize that. I don't want him building furniture for me. I want him to maximize his skills and potential. I guess I'm just confused as why, as someone who has all of that, you want to maximize that skill set, all the extensive training, years of military service, decoration, that you would want to put that to the best use possible.
Understood. When you first asked the question, you asked it, why wasn't I at the sheriff's office? I was at the sheriff's office 8 years, and you can ask your duly elected sheriff here, how did I serve? I guarantee he's going to come back and say, hey, you did great. He's a wonderful job. Can't say anything bad about it. Right? That being said, coming back from Kosovo, I retired from the Army. I wanted to break. I'm not going back to the sheriff's office for the foreseeable future. I don't have a desire in my heart to do that. Now, furthermore, you just prompted a question in my mind saying that there's an FBI office here in Elizabethton. I would not ever apply to such an organization with such, I need to word this properly, such an aptitude for corruption. So the FBI is a law enforcement agency that I do not believe in, nor think that they're a great, I think they're manipulated.
So in your heart, the best and the most good you can do for our community is as a constable?
Yes. Either that or flying the medevac pilot role, which I think that might be an even better method.
Having been one, I'll just tell you. As a constable, you have the opportunity to work one-on-one with the people in your community. Sometimes they don't feel comfortable talking to law officers. But you've grown up there, they know you, you're in their community, and they'll talk to you. And they'll tell you things that they won't always tell an officer. Now, on the flip side of that, you can be a very great avenue to bring officers and the people that they're guarding together and open those doorways so that people don't always just want to call you as a constable, but they will want to call you and say, hey, who's that officer again that runs patrol up here? Can I call him? Can I trust him to tell him this is going on next door? And you can honestly say, yes, we have the greatest group of law officers that I have ever had the opportunity to work around. They're all wonderful and they do an exceptional job and they want to have the help. They want doors open in these communities. If you have to wonder, then you don't really live in a very bad neck of the woods. If you live in a bad neighborhood where you might have 2 or 3 good houses and 4 or 5 really bad ones, there's where you can see the difference in having a constable and having officers that connect to each other and talk. And it's just a big deal. It's a big deal for my people. I've not been a constable there for 2 years, but they still call me all hours of the night. And I always still answer all hours of the night. So trust me, I mean, if I could go back and do it, I would do it in 2 seconds flat. I loved it. But that's what that can be when you live in these small communities where people don't readily trust. And it is a very big open door when you can get your county deputies, your constables, and your people working together. You make huge, huge differences.
And to supplement what Julie's saying there, as a deputy for Carter County, I helped many, many more people by just sitting and talking to them, talking them down, calming them down, and saying, hey, I put my britches on just like you do, and calm them down and say, hey, bad things happen in life, and get them in a much cooler frame of thought. And instead of slapping cuffs on them, I was able to just say, hey, let's everybody cool off. I was able to reach and help a lot more people than I ever put cuffs on that way versus putting cuffs on. And just like she said, I still have people come by the house. You're that cop. I'm not deputy anymore, but you're that cop that lives right there. Well, what do you got? And this or this or that. And my son is where all the pieces is. And I try, even without a role in law enforcement or anything, I'm still going to continue to try to help people. It's just not going to be in a law enforcement capacity because, again, I don't view people as disposable objects. I view them as souls who have an eternal life. And that if I get to talk to them and they become Christians with me, then I get to hang out with them in heaven. So,
Mr. Keener addressed this in his own speech, so I didn't have to ask him, but do you feel that you'll have all the qualifications by Monday to be included in the discussion after the nomination?
the qualifications of a psychological evaluation and some sort of affidavit. Or what's the affidavit? What's it look like? Or I'm obviously at least 21, and I live in Tiger Creek. You come to my house, I'll fix you a cup of coffee. I graduated from Northeast State and Unaka, and I've got most of my teeth. Usually I get a chuckle out of that, but I guess there's a bunch of Rangers in here.
We're teachers.
I've definitely not been convicted of any felony or anything like that. And I have been discharged honorably from the United States Army. And that's his personal information. I better not read that.
So pick that up in the clerk's office.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. served in, like I said, I've served in many different capacities. And nor do, no, I'm not going to promise you that I'm going to be every day, pulling 12 hours a day there, but I will maintain I will be on call at all times. If I can come help, I will. It's not a may, or it is a shall,
Yeah, the question wasn't towards your abilities whatsoever, just making you aware of and making sure that you feel capable of getting the required paperwork to be considered for the position. And also, if you hadn't heard, notifying you of the deadline that Chairman Cable mentioned earlier.
I did, and I can, and I did hear his requirements, and I can do it. Do you have a preferential psychologist? And from the sheriff's office, if I had a psychological evaluation circa 9 years ago, would that suffice?
I'm not legal, I can't speak to that.
Attorney says no, that was not.
Okay. So,
Anything else?
and how much is it $350 for psychological evaluation?
I have no idea.
I just know what they charge the sheriff's department for them.
What do they charge the sheriff's office?
Charge the sheriff's department $250 per psychological.
Is that the guy was?
Just so everybody is aware, it usually takes us 2 to 4 weeks to get somebody scheduled. So Monday's a big deadline that you may or may not reach.
That being said, with, or is it Captain Range now?
Yes.
Captain Range just said, then I may not be able to meet that deadline.
I just wanted to make you aware of it so you at least had a shot at it.
Hey, and if I have a shot and it misses, I've missed before. I'm not too proud to say that I've never missed anything.
Thank you, Mr. Pierce.
Yes, sir. God bless you all and God keep you all.
Before Mr. Mason speaks, if he would like, if you want to see the rest of his qualifications, there's 36 pages here. I didn't have enough paper to copy it all. So if you would like to breeze through it, you're welcome to do it.
The only question I have, Chair, is it should be put in English. I've never seen so many Swahili, Taiwanese, Vietnamese. Well, nobody knows what they are.
Maybe he can tell.
It's only like, this brief is qualification. I just thought, I'd like to read it in English.
Mr. Mason?
Good evening. I don't have such a colorful career to talk about, but I have been involved in the military and law enforcement. My name is Michael Mason. I live at 6905 Highway 19E in Roan Mountain. Pretty much everybody knows me up there. I live in what's known as the old Honeycutt store. You've all been past there many times, and I get a lot of horns blown and everything else. So I'm there quite often. I know you have a copy of my background, and like I said, mine's not such a colorful career. I did start out my career in 1969 during Vietnam and was assigned as a special operations on a submarine. With that being said, I can't talk about much more than that because everything we did was very top secret. After that, with my qualifications, I wanted to stay in the reserves and still serve. but they didn't have anything in the Navy for me to be able to do. So the Army Special Forces Green Beret took me. I did that for 18 years. And just basically as an 18 Charlie, which was a combat engineer sergeant. My police career, I served over 20 years honorably. I'm retired from Metropolitan Police Department, Washington, D.C., where I was a motorcycle patrol officer, presidential escort. I did highway and accident reconstruction and accident, just basically, you know, doing the investigation on accidents. I answered 911 calls in probably the roughest area of Southeast Washington, D.C. So I got to see in my career probably a little bit of everything. And the reason I'm here today, I've given the office of constable a lot of thought. I've got a couple friends that are constables, and they kind of encouraged me to make an application. I've been interested in this for a long time. At this point in my life, I'm retired, I have a pension, financially secure, and I want to work in the community. I want to do my part. I think I'm pretty good with people, communication, and I've got the integrity and the maturity to handle the job. And if there's any questions that you might have for me, I'd like to answer that. Yes, ma'am.
I'm your District 2 Commissioner. I'm Julie Gwynn. Sometimes, and I meant to tell these guys this too, sometimes what you're asked to do is come work youth club ball games to keep it a safety zone, to keep it from being a soft target. Sometimes it's as simple as coming and sitting outside of a church that's having Bible school. And most of the time, the only thing you ever get paid is maybe a piece of pizza and a piece of cake. But you're keeping traffic slowed down to keep those kids safe. Will things like that be things that will interest you in doing, or is it things that you wouldn't want to be bothered with?
If I can make the people feel safe, that's number one goal. And I used to do it when I was active as a police officer. I would hang out at the businesses that would close usually after 2:00 in the morning, just to make sure that they got home safe. And I did that on my own. I wasn't assigned to it, but I knew the problems and what had happened before. And that's why I tried to be there.
Still looking at Mr. Johnson.
I have one of the same questions. Do you have currently completed, or will you be able to have by the
I meant to say that. My psychological evaluation will be this Thursday at 2:00 p.m. It's all taken care of. I wasn't aware that I had to have that until actually when we talked today. And it's all been taken care of. Is there anything else I can answer?
Mr. Mason, I'm Brad Johnson. I'm a retired law officer and retired out of the military. And my question is, I find all kinds of dishonorable discharges, but I don't find a 214 from the Navy in this.
The only one I have,
Marines, you would be afforded one.
the only one I have is what's in that.
This is Army.
But that was the last one I was given when I was discharged.
Army Reserve.
That's correct.
Indian submarine service.
I'm going to have to see if I can find something with that. I don't remember having that. I can probably talk to my Veterans Administration and see what I can get.
The ones you have there is from the National Guard Bureau.
That was when I was discharged from the 20th Special Forces. But I will look into that and see if I can come up with something. I've got so many papers that it's kind of hard to keep track
I
of.
understand.
I tried to include everything in there for you to just give you a basic background where I'm coming from.
And I want you to understand, and I don't want you to feel it offensive, but there is a lot of prior service individuals that make statements that they have been involved and are members of the special forces, particularly if we had as many SEALs as claimed to be in the service, we would not need ships.
I was just a reserve.
To everyone I've ever run into, I thought, good gosh almighty.
I was just assigned Special Forces as a reserve. I never did any active time with them.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
I'd be real careful about using such a statement.
Right.
Some of veterans will call you cards. I think, as an example, I served as the Command Master Chief of San Diego County, which has the SEAL camp, has the Marine Corps, and has the Navy and the amphibians. And I got to be there for the SEALs every morning. I can't carry their briefcase. And I wouldn't know until I was one of them. I mean, that's almost embarrassing.
Don't feel privileged. You went over Mr. Pierce's the same way a couple months ago. He's just very thorough.
Just give us a few minutes.
Excuse me?
Just give us a few minutes.
Okay.
So basically, they all three, if they get all their required paperwork and his psych eval, they need to show up Monday night at 6, right?
Yes. All the evaluation and your affidavit needs to be turned in from the clerk's office.
I'll take care of that Thursday.
And then our commission meeting is this coming Monday night at 6.
Yes, ma'am.
So you get all your paperwork in, show up. at the commission.
These are the same documents that were in the email. Okay, I reviewed them earlier.
Anything else from Mr. Mason? Thank you, Mr. Mason, for your time.
It's an honor to be here tonight. Thank you.
That's all the new business we have to discuss. Do we have any commissioner comments? Comments? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you all.
I'll send it to them.
In at 8:25.
Just post it. So it goes the wrong way.
You're welcome. I'll do those minutes and get them put to you.
And you're not doing it.
Well, I'll do my very best. I gotta be busy the next couple of days. And I'll send them to you and Glenn both.
The bottom.
Take vacation. It was gonna be.
Try not to. It's the end of the day. Now it's sold at 3:30, right? I think that makes It was a good time, yes, it was nice and relaxed.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Hey, I'm signing off.
All right. I mean, I don't need anything else. We can get something. Good, I appreciate it. Like Lori do. Like Lori do it all. She could run circles around. I was out there hitting a little plastic ball.
I asked you, it's been a little while.
That's,
More raised over next Monday against environmental.